Hello everyone, this is Candy, the 614 Stitcher, and today is Saturday, April the 8th, 2023, and this is my Flosstube episode number 77. I would like to say hello and welcome to all of my new subscribers. I thank you so very much for taking the time out of your schedule to come and check me out to see if I can enable you with a project that I am working on. And to my returning friends and subscribers, thank you so very much for coming back each and every time I do upload a video. It has been a very steady week, for lack of a better term. No real anything going on in my life, just work and stitching. I did manage to sew a little bit today. However, you'll see when I show it to you, it is a hot mess. And so I'm going to have to rethink the way that I'm doing it. What else? I think that is all. I have a pretty full episode for you today. I'm going to be showing you a new start, some whips. I don't have any finishes this week. I do have some plans and a tiny bit of investments, and so let's just get right to it. So this week my new start was, I need to put it in a proper project bag. Right now I just have it in the bag that it came in. So, and it is Dr. Maya Angelou by Salty Stitcher Designs. And I am working on this. I started it on the 4th. And it's actually qualifying for two different things. The first is, it is my Representation Matters piece for this month. And the second, well, I thought there was a second, but I can't see it now. Anyway, so here is where I got to on that. I started at the middle flower motif, and now I have finished that motif and am working on one of the next flower. I am stitching this on a 36 count pearl Mystic Fibers by Mystic Fibers, and I am using the Called For Gentle Arts, Harvest Moon, and Pine, and Hyacinth, and then I am changing one of the other colors to a color and classic, a color and cotton that was gifted to me by Megan, the Georgia Girl Stitches. So I have made a color conversion on it, and you can see that here. This is where I started, and now I am stitching on this flower also. I did get in my 200 stitches for this project. However, I will be continuing to work on it this month for Representation Matters. And here, let me show you my colors. Here is the color palette. I changed the blue, and I don't know what the other color was, Buckeye Scarlet. I changed those out for these two purples. So I'm making it my own. It is a very enjoyable stitch. I thought I was going to have a problem with, you know, doing the center flower and then working my way out. So, but I didn't at all. I literally stitched all the 200 stitches in one night. I'm using one thread over 2 linen threads. And so that was my new start. Oh, I did. Okay, so I used Dr. Maya Angelou to travel to Salty Yarns in Ocean City, Maryland. I'll be explaining as I go along with each project where they are fitting in for my month as I go along. I'm sorry, I'm like so thirsty. So now I'm going to move on to my whips. You know, you take notes, and I'm steady looking at my notes and thinking, well, I know I used it for something. What did I use it for? But right here in my notes, it say what I used it for, but I can't read what I used it for. Okay, so the first whip that I worked on this week was in my Lynn X Stitches Creates project bag. It is Flea Market Flowers. And here is that project. And here's a picture of where it was when I last showed it. And here's a picture, and here's where I am now. So I already had the stem in for the flower, and I think one of like this petal. So I have put in all the rest of the petals for this middle flower, the middle of the flower, and I have started on the blue flower. I am doing a thread conversion. This is where I'm stitching at right now, and I did a thread conversion by the Wandering Stitcher. She is on Instagram as the Wandering Stitcher. She now has a Flosstube, and it is Antique Needleworkers. And so that is where I have gotten the color conversion from for this. I am stitching this on a 16 count lamb's wool Aida, and I am using the DMC conversion that she came up with. And I'm sorry, like all of a sudden, her name just flew right out of my head. Shelly Ann. It'll come to me. But that's where I am now. So I have used this project. It is my number 5 for WIPGO. I am using it also in the Magazine Monthly Challenge group for the H in shelves because the designer's last name is Holt. And I have put in 280 stitches on this piece. And that's where I'm at. I do still enjoy it. It is a lot of stitching. A lot of stitching. But I'll be working on this because my WIPGO goal is 700 stitches. So I have, you know, I'm almost halfway there. No, I guess not. I need another 100 stitches or so, but I'll be working on it all month long to get those stitches in. Okay, my next whip that I worked on was Half the Fun. By Ink Circles, and here is what that looks like. I started this last year with Miss Shelia and Miss Margaret. We were on a cruise together, and we 3 started it, and we all started it in different places. And here's a picture of where it was when I last showed it. And here is where I am now. So I have come all the way across the top of the chart. I put in this car, the airplane. The car was already in. I put in this airplane and then dropped down and put in the motorcycle and this little bit here. I am stitching this on a Fortnite fabric 16 count, and I don't know what the fabric name is for it. And I am using wool. It used to be Leo and Roxy. It is now Roxyco, and the color is Vampish. And that is where I am now. I used this project to purchase a full coverage kit, which was 200 stitches. I'm also using it in my categories for travel. The letter for this month is H, and so I used it for helicopter because there's a helicopter in the chart. And so that is where I am with half the fun. 200 stitches. Seems like I put in more than 200 stitches, but 200 is all I show, which was the airplane and this motorcycle here. This is nice stitching also. Like I am having a great time stitching on it. The Ada is like butter. It is super soft, and I don't get a lot of shredding with the threads, so it is really working up nicely. I will be stitching on this one more time this month. I have another category for it, and I'll be using it for that. So categories is a Facebook group within the Facebook group of Whip Warriors. I am doing the road trip through Whip Warriors, and I'm also doing categories. They have several different games and all kinds of things to play within that group. So you can pick and choose what you want to participate in. So now I'm participating in the road trip and categories. Okay, so my next project is Temperature Butterflies by Stitching Mommy. And here's what mine will look like when I'm finished with it. I am on the June butterfly. And here's a picture of where it was when I last showed it. And here is where I am now. So here's the June butterfly. I completed this side of the butterfly and started working on so this is all the odd numbers and this is all the even numbers. And so I finished the odds and am now working on the evens. These temperatures represent, this yellow is 69 degrees and this red is in the 90s. I am stitching this on a 28 count Artemis by Be Stitch Me, and I am using my own sulky conversion. Once I get completely finished with the even numbers of the butterflies, I'll then scroll up and start outlining the July, August, and September butterflies. This project is on my year of whips, so I'm planning on getting it finished by the end of the year. I have 6 projects on that board, so that is a Facebook group ran by Melanie Watkins, the Soulful Stitcher. Let me tell you what, I'm going to do that works. Let me tell you what I use this for. So I purchased hand-dyed fabric in my travels for 174 stitches. In the magazine monthly acrostic, it is the E in shells. And then I traveled from there and used it to travel to Strawberry Sampler, which is in Glen Mills, Pennsylvania, for 206 stitches. And then after I got there, I used it again to purchase a needle minder for 100 stitches. So all in total, this time I have stitched 491 stitches on it this week for all of those prompts. This project is also on my WIPGO board for number 17, so I need to get 700 stitches in on it. And my WIPGO is for the year, not for the month. So even if, which I made a mistake this month and put my WIPGO total down for my magazine monthly instead of, like, usually what I do is, instead of putting the 700 stitches, I'm double dipping. So what I normally do is put 200 or 300 stitches in for magazine monthly, but then I know that I still need to get 700 stitches. This time, not thinking, I put down 700 stitches for the acrostic. So I'm really going to be working, because that means that I have to have the 7 in my head. These are my rules, my plan. Because I did that, that means now I need to stitch 700 stitches on this project by the end of the month. This project and Flea Market Flowers. I made the mistake and put down 700 stitches instead of putting down 300 stitches, knowing that I would still need to get another 400 for my WIPGO. I know it may not make sense, or I may be making it too complicated, but it makes sense to me, so I won't do that again, though. I call myself double dipping, and I did. I'm double dipping all over the place. But I did not mean to put 700 stitches down for my magazine monthly, because those are monthly goals. I know. Sometimes we really make things extra complicated. And I think that's what I did this month. But I am still loving stitching on Temperature Butterflies. I got to stitch on it 3 days this week, which was really good. It really has helped boost the number of stitches that I got in, so that I can get to the 700 stitches by the end of the month. Which, if I can do that, it will help me with, I still need to get in like 400 stitches on Women of Honor. So, you know, the more I keep up with doing it monthly, the less likely I am to have, you know, big, huge amounts of stitches to get in before the end of the year on my WIPGO, because I am going to get a WIPGO blackout board this year. You have heard it here. Okay, so that was Temperature Butterflies. And then the next project that I stitched on was Stitchcon 2022 by Sue Hillis. And here's a picture of where it was when I last showed it. Sorry, I just dropped the thing and it made a big bang. And here is where it is now. So I have put in all the stitches for the scroll rod. I had 3 little stitches that I had missed here, so I put those in. I put in Keepsakes, Cincinnati, and all these X's. I actually stitched on this morning. and I used it to purchase Ada at Strawberry Sampler. And I needed 200 stitches, and I put 200 stitches in. That 200 stitches includes all of this back stitching. So there we are with StitchCon 2022. I am stitching this on a 28 count color and cotton in Ophelia. And I am using a mix of the called for DMC and over-dyed flosses of my choice. This also is on my year of WIPs, so I am planning to get it done. I have until June to get this project completed. I want to ring the bell at StitchCon weekend, be with it, and so I need to keep it in front of me so that I can do that. And my last WIP for this week is Tree Frog by Dimensions. And I am stitching this middle frog, See No Evil. And here's a picture of where it was the last time I showed it. And here is where it is now. So I have all of the stitches in for the tree frog and have started doing a little of the back stitching. I use this as the second E in shells. And I used it for E because it is distributed by EK Success brand. That's the parent company of Dimensions. In the categories, I was able to use it because Hylae is a genus of a tree frog. I am stitching this on a 32 count antique white even weave, and I am using the DMC flosses. I did change the floss color for the feet to green. So you can see in the picture, what did I do with it? That originally See No Evil had pink feet, and I changed it to green. And I simply love this piece. I used it as my 25/7 also this past week, and I was able to get in 390 75 and 75. I put in over 200 stitches. I have it all added up together on in my recording, and so that's why I can't give you the exact number, but all I have now is to put in the black back stitching, and it will be completed. I'm going to be charting a saying down underneath here. And then this will be my smalls exchange at the Stitching in the Wilds retreat, which is hosted by Gary and Ronnie Horvath. I love it. I'm going to restitch this for myself. That's how much I love it. I've never considered myself, to stitch stitch something twice. No way. But this frog right here, I'm definitely going to stitch it twice. Because I just think it's so cute. I have which you probably can't see it, but right there I have a frog now looking over me. I don't know what happened. I don't know when I started liking frogs so much, but like I really like frogs. So frogs, turtles, butterflies. So that is where my See No Evil frog is. And I wanted to show you this before I started putting in the back stitching, because I believe that the back stitching makes all the difference. So it'll be great to see how alive it becomes with all of the back stitching once it gets put in. So those are all of my whips for this week. It has been a very productive week with lots of stitches being put in, and I am very pleased about that. It's good to be able to get in all of these stitches now, because spring is coming and the weather is going to be getting better. Thank the Lord. And I'll be outside doing yard work, because I did not get very much cleaning up of the yard done last year at the end of the season. So it'll be good also for my mental health to get outside and be in some fresh air. So now we're going to move on to plans, and I have just a couple of plans for this week. On tomorrow, happy Easter for you that celebrate. Happy Resurrection Day. I'll be celebrating, and I will be working on 2 projects tomorrow. The first one will be my Sunday stitches, and it is Amazing Grace by Heartstring Sampleries. And I am stitching on this for categories for designer. Heartstring Samplery starts with an H. So I'll be putting in some work on this tomorrow. And then I will be working on, so, you know, I'll put a couple of hours in on Amazing Grace, and then I will turn over to my seasonal Sunday stitch, which is Spring Quakers. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. It'll be very laid back, very quiet. It'll just be me and Albert. So, you know, we'll just do our usual hanging out. I'll stitch and he'll sleep, and all will be right with the world. So that is one plan. And then what day did I decide? I might have not have decided a day. I will also be pulling out my home sampler, which is on my Year of Whips, because I'm using it for a movie, and the movie that I'm using it for is Home Alone. So I'll be pulling out that one. It's been a while since you've seen it. I think it's been since January. So I need to put some work into that. And then on next Saturday, I'll be starting the Lebanon House sampler, which is by Rosewood Manor for the 25th anniversary of Keepsakes. Okay, moving right along. So I have had some requests to talk about mental health projects, and excuse my reach, I thought it would be closer for me. So if you've been around for a while, you may remember that Lynn X Stitches Creates got me this book for Christmas, and it has self-care cross stitch patterns in them, and I will be stitching the one on the front cover, and it says, "It's okay if all you did today was survive." And there was another one. I will be pulling charts again next week to show you some more. I'll be starting this one out of this book, and then I'm going to be starting the Lindy Stitches Beautiful Things, and I believe the quote on it says, "Oh my darling, it is true that beautiful things have dents and scratches too." So I'll be starting that also with the one out of this book. And with the one out of the book being the one that I'll be working on predominantly for the month. I want to, I've been wanting to start Lindy Stitches. I've had it for quite some time. And this seemed like the perfect time for me to go ahead on and get started on it. I also saw this one. I'm going to cover this up. So a lot of people with depression, or people period, not just with depression, but anyone, they think that self-care, they've been taught that caring for yourself is an act of selfishness. That is not true. So one of the other ones that I'm considering is self-care is not selfish. Because I think that is so true. For years and years, I put everybody else's needs and wants ahead of mine. And then you get to the point where you're just like, I can't give any more to anybody else. And for me, I ended up becoming a very mean person. I'm just going to say it. I was very mean and very resentful, because I always gave, and it wasn't always reciprocated. You know, I would spend my time doing for others and not doing for myself. And so care for yourself, because you can't care for other people if you don't care for your own self. So those are just a couple of the projects that I'll be pulling out to work on for Mental Health May. Again, I have some charts in my stash, and I will show those on next week. I should have bookmarked this. 52. I'm writing it down so I don't have to like go back through. 52. Okay. So now I'm going to move on. Oh. No, that was it. So now I'm going to move on to my investments. Again, I am going to the Stitching in the Wilds retreat, and my friend Athena of Stitching Goddess Designs is in charge of the shirts, and so she sent me a thank you card with a beautiful note. Thank you, Athena. You know how much you mean to me. And then I got my Stitching in the Wild, and of course, because it's Gary and Ronnie, the shirt is green, and there is what the t-shirt looks like. I guess I didn't have to really unfold it. But that's the logo that she has been putting on the t-shirts. And it's a good weighted, like, you're not going to see anything through this t-shirt. It's a good weighted t-shirt. Which is good, because I hear that, like, it's already hot in Florida, so. And then I received another, I had ordered another shirt from her. And of course, it's in purple. I know it's showing as blue on the screen, but it is purple. And it was a Valentine's Day shirt, but by no fault of hers, it was all on me. I just received it. So there's that. And this is also a good weighted t-shirt. I have a lot of Athena's shirts, and I wear them all the time for work, when I'm out running errands. She makes some great shirts. Nice quality. I have had not one of them have peeled. You know, you just follow the directions and wash them as she instructs you, and they are great. I will link her Facebook. She is on Facebook and Instagram, and I will link her Instagram down below. And she sent me this really nice thank you card, which she always does. She's a really good friend and a great businesswoman. And then I received my fabric of the month from Color and Cotton. And I received a 28 count. And the name, if you have not received your fabric of the month from Color and Cotton, you can skip forward a little bit. I don't want to spoil anybody's surprise. This month, the color is, and here is, now it does have some modeling in it. It's going to be very hard. Well, you can see it a little bit. It is beautiful. When I opened up this package yesterday, I was like, woohoo! So I love it. I'm excited and happy about it. Yeah, I was ecstatic when I opened up the package. So, and it has a little bit of like a fuchsia undertone. So like, it's not like in your face, but like you can see it. The closer you look at the fabric, you can see the fuchsia in it. So I was like, woohoo. So that was all of the investments that I received this week. I am coming up on retreats season for me. I have, I just got back from a retreat. I have another one in May. I have StitchCon in June. And then I am going to Silver Needle in July. So I am trying to hold off on the purchases and stack my chips so that I'll have some spending money when I go to these other retreats. I'm excited about getting out and traveling. It's been a long time coming, and so I'm ready. I'm ready. I think that is all I have. I know it is. It's all I have for you this evening. It is a little bit later in the evening. I got to stitch again with Milka today, and it was so much fun. We stitched for a couple of hours together earlier this afternoon, which it did my heart good. I was supposed to be going to Keepsakes today, and my car said, no, you're not, which was really surprising. So yesterday my car wouldn't start. I ended up jumping it, but then I didn't want to make that drive not knowing if I would have to jump it again. As it turns out, I haven't had to jump it at all today. Started right up. But I am such that I believe that the Lord provides warning, and for whatever reason, it wasn't meant for me to be on the road traveling today. And even though I was upset this morning about it, Milka came over and we stitched together and hung out and had pizza, and it was a good time. I'm glad that Albert likes her, because, you know, today she came in and he just sniffed her, and I told him to lay down and he left her alone. And he's not usually like that, but maybe he understands that mommy needs human friends over. He's very protective of me, and so it takes him a minute to get used to other people being here. That, and the fact that people haven't been in since the world changed back in 2020. So he's doing good, though. And again, it made me really happy that he accepted Milka, and he has been with her 3 times now. And so all of the precautions that I go through for him having other people in the house, I don't have to do that anymore. So it's been pretty good. Well, I thank you all so very much for your comments that you leave every week. I do heart them. I read every single one of them. I have not responded. If I respond, if you ask a question or make a funny comment, I do appreciate all of the comments, though. It's such a wonderful avenue to meet different people. You feel like you get to know people on a different level when you have communication back and forth. If you ever have questions or want to make a comment or say something that maybe you don't want to put on YouTube, please remember that all of my social media handles are listed in the description box. And I hope you all have a very great Easter Sunday, and I will see you next Saturday. Bye, everyone.